Hi YouTube, this is Georgia. This is my vertical sleeve gastrectomy weight loss journey. Today is Saturday, January 4th, and we are 4 week. I just finished the 4 weeks post-op, and I'm starting on my 5th week post-op. Now, in this video, I want to go over some things that I've said in the previous videos, and then I'll let you know how week 4 went. First things first, my stats. Today I'm finally 262. I was on a almost 2 week stall, sitting at 263, 263.2, 263.4, 263, 263.2. So the scale kept ranging from 263 to 263.6. I think I started in the beginning of the stall, and then slowly it was going up and down 0.2. But today I'm 262, which means I broke the stall, and I'm really excited. Now, I said some things in my previous videos that I don't necessarily agree 100% today. What I want to say, what are those things? I don't know if I'm going to receive a lot of criticism, and these videos are not going to go up till like probably 15 weeks or 14 weeks from now. And obviously a lot of things would have changed by then. But it's very interesting to go back and watch the videos that I've made in the beginning of this journey, or like the pre-op videos. It's very interesting to consider what you thought you knew before surgery and how things are playing out once you're in this. I have to admit, when I started this journey, like when I first went to my pre-op appointments, I wasn't 100% committed. I was going in it thinking, okay, let's try this, see how it goes. In the back of my mind, I was always like, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna be rejected? I think the only reason I was doubting was because I was afraid of being rejected. And that's why I was like not 100%. Which means if you know you want to do this and you're going in it thinking that this is what I want, there's a lot of things you have to do pre-op to make sure that you're ready at post-op. And then the first week post-op, no matter how ready you think you are, it's a chaos, it's a mess. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups that people post like their journeys or questions and like concerns. A lot of people have not even had the surgery yet, or they're considering having the surgery done. And there's a lot of like, everybody's journey is so different, and level of commitment is very different as well. Some people maybe are more committed than others, and the information you're getting through your clinic, the information you're getting from vloggers like myself, the information you're getting from post, Instagram, Facebook, the internet, other resources, is very different and sometimes contradicting. What I wanted to say, a lot of people were asking, for example, when can I eat yogurt? There's certain programs that, for example, my program allowed yogurt after day 3 post-op, and that's considered a full liquid. Other programs considered yogurt to be a puree food, and they introduce it at week 4. Some programs have a 3-week liquid pre-op diet. Some programs tell you to eat sensibly, lose some weight, and then 3 days before surgery, you're on a liquid diet. So different. So my way, or the way I'm eating, doesn't necessarily mean it's the way you should be eating. And then I can't receive like all this hate and judgment from people, because I did have an incident on Facebook where I posted that, like I'm on week 2 my program has a 2-week liquid diet, but also we can eat yogurt and cottage cheese, and I had the poached egg. I'm not saying that was right, but there are people that on week 2 or after day 10, they can introduce poached eggs. Other people can't introduce egg till like week 5. Does that mean you should follow the program that suits you? No, no, no. You should follow the program that you're given by your surgeon and your nutritionist. All I'm saying is different people heal differently, different people feel differently. Like, you don't need to take the information that suits you at the time and apply it. And I think 2 weeks out of it, I was kind of like testing myself to see if I can handle things. Maybe it was too early, maybe I was too weak, maybe I was not ready, or I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. I think the VSG community or the WLS community, they can be very supportive and very like pick me up, and we want to be there for each other because we're the only ones that really know what we're going through. And then in other occasions, we can be a little mean or not as supportive. Like I received, because on week 2, I'm like, oh my God, I had a poached egg. And like, I'm introducing certain things that maybe I should introduce like the week after or like 2 weeks from now. And I'm worried about I'm going to be a failure. And after putting a post like that out there, I was expecting more of like, you know what? Hang in there, just be strong, just do it, just go back to what you're supposed to do. Don't break. Instead, I got like, of course you're gonna fail at this. Of course you're gonna, like, you're like a failure already. 2 weeks post-op, I couldn't even drink water. But my body healed differently than yours. That maybe that's why you couldn't drink water and I could eat the poached egg. I don't know. I wasn't forcing, like, I don't think so far I've eaten something that caused me harm and I kept eating it. The only thing I've had that really bothered me was the day after Christmas. Someone gave us like homemade bread, and I had like a really small bite out of it, and I got really sick, and I never had bread after that. Sorry, I'm like a little bit like all over the place. I wasn't expecting the hate. Week 4, I'm doing good. Like, I've changed the way I'm thinking. The holidays also were very hard because there was a plethora of food available to me that when I tasted didn't bother me, and I was counting too much on the dumping syndrome or the I can't, chew well enough and swallow. Like, I was expecting when I swallowed, for example, I don't know, the ground meat that I ate. Like, Christmas break was week 3, and we're not supposed to introduce ground meat till like week 5, which is this week. Yes, I chewed well. I ate very little, and also all the things that I said I was cheating with, like the cheated meals, they're like, we're talking about little, like very little. I know it's not good, and even a bite is not good, but I don't want people to get the misconception that I had like a plate of ground meat. I literally had a bite, but I wasn't supposed to. That's not the point, though. The point is that it didn't bother me. It did not. It didn't cause me any kind of pain. It didn't cause me dumping, nothing. Another thing that bothered me and I didn't know, and like I shouldn't be testing myself, is when I had the teaspoon of the pudding and the whipped cream, like on Christmas Day after dinner. People were having dessert, and as I was serving, like I licked the spoon with like the pudding and the whipped cream. And in my previous video I said that I had some pudding and whipped cream. That's how much I had. Like, I was serving, and after I was done serving, I took like a little bit of, like, we're talking about a teaspoon, and I just licked the spoon, and it didn't bother me. Maybe if I had a plate, it would have bothered me. I mean, if I had like a tablespoon portion, it would have bothered me, but it didn't bother me. And I was counting too much on the fact that foods would bother me or I wouldn't feel hungry. And you do feel hungry, and up here, we're still, I mean, I'm still obese, but up here, no matter how good you did on your pre-op diet, because I did very good on my pre-op diet. I only had one boiled egg, I think, like on week 2 of 3 weeks of liquids. And again, the only reason I justified that was because other people are able to be on like the liquid diet, and their programs allowed them to have non-carb meals. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna have a boiled egg so it can carry me through. And that's the only thing I did wrong during my liquid. But then I receive hate and judgment, and I'm like, wait a second, like, just think. This person has struggled with food for like 30 years. And instead of telling them, be strong and continue going, don't give up. Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you can't salvage the situation. Maybe I'm looking for justification from other people, but we need to pick up each other and say, you know what, you had that teaspoon of pudding, just tomorrow or like the minute after, pull yourself together, do this the right way. And that was my attitude for week 4. Pull myself together. Christmas is over. I made doo-doos. Don't continue like that just because you messed up for a day during week 3, or maybe you had an egg on week 2 that you're not supposed to have till like week 5. It's not the end. It's a trial and error a little bit too. Like, you shouldn't be trying, but up here we're still obese. Up here we're still struggling. Up here we're still doubting ourselves. It's a constant war with your head. I've been watching a lot of Dr. V's videos. He's, if you don't know him, you can look him up. I'm not like promoting him or anything, but I watched a lot of his videos. He's a retired bariatric surgeon. And he said something that stuck with me. Well, a lot of the things he said stuck with me. But one thing that really stuck with me is like, when you're falling down the stairs and you miss a step, you try to pull yourself together and continue going down the stairs. You're not like, oops, I missed a step. Let me just like, bulldoze down the stairs. And I feel that the holidays was like a misstep for me. And yes, it was too early in the surgery, but maybe that's a good thing because I tried things that I maybe shouldn't have tried, like the egg or the ground meat. But because it was still so early and I have that restriction, I wasn't able to go full blown on them. I had the restriction and I did, and I have some regrets. Maybe I shouldn't have, but the fact that I did it now, it taught me a good lesson, and hopefully I'm able to pull it together from now on. Again, I didn't reach like 1,000 calories. I was like within the limits. I was like, except for one day that I had a lot of cheese over like a period of 5 hours. And that day I did like 800 calories, but like 500 of them was the cheese. Again, I didn't eat 500 calories worth of cheese in one sitting. It was like I was taking little bites throughout a period of 5 hours that possibly, in my head, I mounted to, maybe I had a cup of cheese. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I had half a cup, but in my head, it felt like I had that much. I'm not trying to make excuses. I am justifying it a little bit, maybe in my head. I just don't feel, considering it was the holidays and all these birthdays, I was like a failure or I failed at it. I just feel I was weak. It was a weak moment, and now I can salvage it. So week 4, I did much better. I'm more prepared. I'm more aware. Also, another thing is what I've changed mentally right now is like, I'm not taking bites because it's very dangerous to be taking bites from things or trying things because you're consuming things that you're not accounting for, but also besides the fact that they can add up, you're sabotaging yourself. You're not getting in the good stuff. Uh, so this week I was more prepared. First week, honestly, you can't really do much because even water bothers you. Like, you're basically on liquids. Even if you want it to be differently, you won't be able to. Second week for most people is like week two. For like week one, for me it wasn't. Like, I was able the middle of the week to have something more with substance. Week three, I was able to have like a little bit of turkey. And again, everything I'm mentioning in my previous videos that I had that I shouldn't have had, we're talking about bites, not like a full blown, like half a cup or a quarter of a cup. Also, in my previous video, I'm mentioning the fact that I can have half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. It that depends on what kind of food I'm having. So let's say an egg, I can only have an egg. Obviously, that's not 3/4 of a cup. I can't have a second egg. I can have 3/4 of a cup if it's a soup or very liquidy consistency, and I can consume 3/4 of a cup in a period of like half an hour to 45 minutes. So very slowly. If I'm consuming something more with substance like cottage cheese, yogurt, hummus, something more like pureed consistency and like more towards the liquidy consistency, I can have about half a cup and I'm full. Again, in the period of about half an hour, I can do that. If I have something more with like more solid, like on week three, I had a little bit of turkey, a little bit of the ground meat, and some mashed potatoes. The mashed potatoes are not a cheat. I could have more mashed potatoes on week three. That I can only have like a third of a cup. Again, over a period of half an hour. So I chewed very well. It was really mushy and swallow slowly, and I can only have a third of a cup. So yes, I did bad, but I didn't do bad to completely fail at this. Now, for week four, it was New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, I didn't eat almost all day. I had a lot of water, so I can indulge at night. At which point we had like some like cheeses and stuff again. I know I love cheese, I'm sorry. But I didn't do as bad as I did during that party that I went to with like when I had the cheese. And then New Year's Day, we went to a friend's, family, friends, whatever, party they had for New Year's Day. Again, I didn't eat anything till we got to the party. And at the party, I noticed I was nibbling throughout the day. The rest of the days of week four, I was very diligent and I was very aware of what I was consuming. So I'm consuming now. I got the Premier Protein, the pre-made Premier Proteins, which I found tastier than my powders. So I start my day with one of those. I also got protein water, and then I sip on that throughout the day, along with like plain water, obviously. And then for lunchtime, I will have like half a cup of like some kind of pureed something. Like I made a white bean puree with like cottage cheese, quarter cup each. I can have, let's say, like a half a cup of yogurt or half a cup of cottage cheese. Maybe a poached egg with like a Melba toast. Like that's how much I can fit. And then for dinner time, like maybe soup. Yesterday we had baked potatoes and roast beef. I took the softest part of the beef and I kind of shredded it almost like a ground meat consistency, and like I chewed very well. I took really, really like this big, like on the fork, a bite, and then chew, chew, chew. I was able to eat like an ounce, 1.2 ounces of that. And then I had like 1.4 ounces of the potato, the baked potato, which is like, again, like I mushed it. So it was like mashed potato consistency. So overall, I can eat about like 2.5 to 3 ounces. 3 ounces is like a third of a cup if I'm having something solid. Uh, so no, I don't think I'm failing at this. I think I was just trying things maybe that I shouldn't have. That's all. And I didn't try them in big quantities. I tried them in small quantities. And I didn't eat things that were like horrible. I didn't have like, I don't know, pizza and wings and like, what else? Like a hamburger or like, I don't know, bad things. I was having homemade, cooked with good, high quality ingredients food, you know? Anyways, that's kind of like how week 4 went. I was more diligent, and I also don't take nibbles. I took nibbles, like I said, on New Year's Day, but I don't take nibbles throughout the day anymore. Anything that goes in my stomach, I count for, and I measure and I weigh it. So I measure it in the my baking cups, and I have a scale, and I put it on a scale, and then I log it on my phone, and I make sure that's what I have. Sometimes I might measure something and weigh it, and I put it on my little plate, and like I can't eat the full 3 ounces, right? That I put on my plate. I might have 2.5 or 2 ounces. Um, but the point I'm trying to make is that everyone heals differently. You can't assume because you couldn't drink water on week 2, someone can't have mashed potato on day 11 that was allowed by the program. But I was counting too much on not being able to have things. I did. And that's one thing that I feel no one else has mentioned so far. And kind of like the vlogs and the blogs and the articles and the doctors, they tell you 6 months post-op or like 4 months post-op, you have to stop chasing the hunger, stop chasing the fullness, and be more aware. I just didn't expect me to be able to introduce foods beforehand. I felt that if I had, I don't know, like the pudding that I mentioned earlier, that as soon as I ate it, I would get like pain and diarrhea or vomiting. I was counting too much on that, and I shouldn't have. A lot of people go in it probably more mentally prepared, and more like strong-willed. A lot of people don't feel then like they don't do well on soup, therefore anything else throws them off. Other people don't do well on like anything solid, so they don't try to, like, even after they've been cleared for it. Everybody heals differently, and everybody's body's differently. Nevertheless, we should follow the instructions. So going into week 5, I'm going in with like a better mentality. Also, all the holidays are out of the way. I feel that was my downfall. Honestly, if it wasn't during the Christmas break, I wouldn't have tested the waters as much as I did. Maybe that's why I had a stall, because I introduced certain foods. But I feel maybe I would have had the stall now instead, because I would have introduced those foods. I'm going into week 5 hopeful. I'm more prepared, more mentally prepared. Just if you're starting your journey now, start making good habits of recording what you eat. And if you're a snacker and you snack, start being aware of your snacking habits. Make a little container or a big container with like what snacks you're gonna have that day, and log them into an app or write them on a diary and say, I'm having this, this, and that. And once the container is empty, you stop yourself. Uh, Start getting into that habit, logging and being aware. Maybe start a workout routine. I'm struggling with starting a workout routine. I know I'm only 4 weeks post-op and I've been walking and stuff, but I feel like I need to start introducing a more of a workout, more of like a scheduled workout program. I am definitely more hopeful. I feel stronger because I made those mistakes. I am continuing to lose weight. I There are days that I feel like a failure. Obviously, right now it's not a moment that I feel like a failure, but I won't let those moments define me. I won't let those moments make me give up on what I've started. I will continue to fight, and I will continue to try every day I wake up. Every day I wake up, I'm going to keep reminding myself that today we're going to do good. So that's it for me for now. This was video number 15. It was the end of my week 4. I am sitting at 262 pounds, which means I've lost 36 pounds. No, yes, 36 pounds since my highest weight. And I've lost 11 pounds since my surgery day 4 weeks ago. I think 10 to 15 pounds a month, it's a good weight loss. But I feel tomorrow I'm going to wake up and the scale will be even lower. And it's going to be another little victory for this VSG journey. I want to thank you for watching. If you want to continue following my journey, subscribe to my channel. If you want to watch my previous videos, visit my channel and leave your comments. Let's have a conversation. Thank you for watching.